Ploughing Association, we'd like to extend eventually support and an excellent name site to Plough here today. Incidentally, I believe it was on this man's land that the first line match of Macroom took place way back in the 70s. So history repeats itself when we ploughed in this team a number of years ago in more difficult conditions as the weather wasn't kind. Today, we're very fortunate that the gods are willing to have a very big turnout. It's the first Ploughing match of 2015. And we have up to 52 competitors competing here today in the many sections. Half of the officers, the many stewards that have helped to make this event possible. The calling man from Dumcara, and also we have refreshments being provided here by John Daly's shipper. So there's no reason that you should go home hungry. You're more than welcome to come along here to 46. We have DJ Johan still above. In the under 28, three competitors again in this. We have John McCarthy in stock 4, Kieran Coakley here. We have David Walsh 1, Andrew O'Sullivan 2, Adrian O'Sullivan in 3. We have one sole lady competitor in the mocker class. We have either situated in front of the public address out over the slope away from the entrance. We have about 23 Sean Ryan, 24 Michael Coomey, 25 Michael Walsh, our Welsh 26 John O'Neill, and 27 Dennis Cummins. In the confined hydraulics, two competitors here. We have
Many the breezes that blow in the spring, sweeter the sound that the song thrushes sing. I sigh for a sight that I seldom see now, a man in the fields with his horses and plough. Farewell to the days of my youth long ago, when I harnessed my team in the valley below, and off to the highlands beside Corrigal to turn the hard green sod with horses and plough. invoking a blessing, I started my day. I've earned a tanner, that's what I would say, and asking for guidance to keep my know-how and plough a straight furrow with horses and plough. They knocked at the headland, and every once in a while I rested my body, all aching while the sleeve of my shirt wiped the sweat from my brow as I gazed on the work of my horses and plough. With whistling and singing a bar of a song to lighten my burden all the day long, with the seagulls above me and the rooks and the bow, all tasting the bounty of horses and plough. With the clatter of tractors, pollution and all have crippled the couple and sad wild to fall. From far away, oh pet, we were richly endowed, never counting the value of horses and plough. Soon I'll be gone from this valley of woe to the fair fields of heaven. I hope I will go. One request of Saint Peter, I pray he'll allow eternal employment with horses and plough.
Right, I'd like to welcome listeners of LTV here to the 2015 annual ploughing match held here on the lands of Dennis Murphy Leaveview. I'm delighted to get an opportunity to interview our local horseman, namely JJ Delaney, all the way from Ballinacree. JJ, what's it like to plough here in Castleview or Leaveview here this evening?
The ground is top class here in Leaveview this evening. It is great ground.
Yeah, we ploughed in this site. It's also the site where the Macroom show was held for a few years back, and we also ploughed the site, I think maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I think maybe 08, 09 as far as I know.
Yeah, that was the time it was a bad Sunday, yeah.
Yeah,
the same field, yeah. It's the field.
Yeah, we're lucky today. That day, the weather was a bit unkind to us. It made it very challenging, particularly for maybe the two-wheel drive tractors, but today we're lucky that the weather is with us and it makes a difference.
Oh, today is a beautiful day. I mean, here on the 4th of January with no coat on, like, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the as you mentioned, the weather is quite mild. You're ploughing obviously with your horses there. What age are the horses that you have pulling your ploughs here today?
7 and 9, Toby and Paddy.
Toby and Paddy. And your assistant here today is your neighbour down the road?
David O'Connell is the head man here today. He's still leading horses, and he's doing a great job.
Good. So today, David is breaking virgin ground as well here. So today, leading the infamous horses for JJ. You had a good season in the past. You did well above in Rananiska there a few months back last September, where records crowds attended the ploughing match. So how'd you get on?
We got on well. We came third. The young fellow was third 2 days, and I was third my own day. Oh, yeah. But we done all right. We're pleased enough with the results.
You plough with the same pair of horses, I presume?
Correct. We plough with the same horses, yeah.
Speaking of your son Jeremiah, was he ploughing under 40 that day? Or
he done very well on the last day, and he headed off for New Zealand that evening. And I suppose he was right. I was ready to go with him.
As just mentioned about New Zealand, he's out in New Zealand on a working holiday. What part of New Zealand and what kind of work is Jeremiah doing at the minute?
He's in the northern hemisphere of New Zealand, but they went down to the South Island for the Christmas, because he had friends down there, and they're up now again he's on maize now, I think, but he was at silage after going over straight away. He's on a load up, push up, and then went mechanicking for a bit, and I'd say he'll be home in maybe a month or that.
I'm only just back from New Zealand, and something I've noticed there in the past 4 years being there in Tin, there is a lot more maize being planted there, and there's a lot more cash crops being fed to cows, where in the past we had the idea that New Zealand was purely grass only, where there's now a big swing of turnips and maize being introduced to the diets over there.
Well, there is, there's all that, and thousands of cows. Like, we're only talking about a few cows, but some of the cows are there, and they're really there. And they said the sheep are kind of gone down, now it's gone to dairy more.
I see down in the South Island now that obviously the weather is quite warm down there, that they're converting the farms from the beef and sheep, and they're converting them to vast herds with big irrigations going there. And we here in Ireland say that will Ireland cope with the expansion, but having come back from New Zealand and see the scale that they're on, I think our little drop of milk could hardly be seen out in the ocean, the extra milk that we plan to produce in 2015.
It won't matter. That dropping won't matter now.
Mayor, you have a job to do. Want to detain you. Thanks ever so much, JJ, for affording us time out to be interviewed here, and we wish you the best of luck in today and indeed in the whole of 2015. Thank you, JJ.
And thanks for doing that.
Right, I'd like to welcome back viewers here to another competitor here competing in Macroom is Gordon Jennings. Gordon, you're very welcome here to Macroom.
Thank you.
Your impressions so far of the site and the whole ploughing match here today?
A very good site considering the weather we've had over the past 4 or 5 days, I suppose. Tin to many fields you could plough in a day like today, so an excellent site from that reason.
As an experienced ploughing man for a number of years now, more of a challenge to plough lay ground?
Oh, definitely. Your measurements and everything have to be dead on in lay. So it's a real test of a ploughman of lay ground.
Yeah. I thought I'm sure that you were here with us before when we ploughed this particular site probably 6 or 7 years ago on a very difficult challenging day. I'm not sure if you were with us that day.
I was indeed, yeah. We had a frosty morning and a very wet evening.
Did you manage to plough it with your unique tractor here in the background?
I did. I got through and I thought.
Maybe speaking of uniqueness, describe the tractor that you're ploughing with, and how many sods you're pulling behind your unusual tractor.
The tractor is a 1952 Massey Harris Pony, 9 horsepower, and she's pulling a single for a sod.
She's 9 horsepower. What era would she have been associated with in bygone days, or what kind of period did she come into play?
She's probably she's 1952, this one, but probably the late 40s. They came into the era and they were probably going up to the late 50s.
Okay.
So
and you have had a lot of success down through the years, I suppose. 2013 would have been a climax for you achieving All Ireland in your category.
Yeah, I achieved it in 2013 for my 3rd time. I came 4th last year, and I have had a couple of 2nds and 3rds in between. Oh, yeah. I'm playing with about 10 years with her, so I've been in the top 6 every time.
Well, it's impossible to win all the time. Sometimes things can go with you on the day, and some things might work out, but overall you have been quite lucky.
Been very lucky, really. It brought me a lot of fun and success, and you can't be a winner all the time. It has to go around, so.
Absolutely. Jim or Gordon, you're from down around the Clonakilty. What line of business are you at yourself at the moment?
I'm a worker in Lissavar Co-op as a yard assistant, so nothing to do with farming really, but brought up in a farm originally, all right. Yeah.
But you're attached to what branch in Lissavar?
Ballinascarty branch of Lissavar Co-op.
Right, but obviously looking ahead, 2015 or 14 was an exceptional year with a record milk price, and you probably saw that there was a lot of sales of water trucks and a lot of stuff being bought in the co-op.
There was indeed. It was a good year for the co-op, even that it started out kind of shaky, it was, with the bad weather in February and March, but from once we hit the end of March, it was a bumper year all through.
You're a man that's interacting a lot with farmers on a day-to-day basis. Is there a lot of talk down in West Cork? Are people getting a little bit nervous or challenged by the proposed milk price? And we're not saying that it may happen, but it looks like it may see a drop in milk price compared to 2014. Are people getting a bit worried down in West Cork and Ballinascarty?
They are sinking in a bit now, all right, I think, yeah. I suppose the first challenge to the year will be the quota, up till the end of March. A lot of people with quotas full or nearly full. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, and I think the downturn in price will probably upset the thing a bit as well. Like.
Look, we have survived 09, we survived the casualties of 12 with difficult weather, we survived the famine of 13. I know this will be temporary because the long-term view in volatility of the milk price, the overall trends are good for the dairy industry. So hopefully, with God's help, we'll survive this one, and we look forward to seeing you, Gordon, back again in Macroom in the near future, and wish you the best of luck in today's ploughing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gordon.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it. A good judge, I've been judging that. We're joined by two spectators here today at the Macroom Ploughing match. Next to me is my near neighbour, Nelis Manny from Crookstown, and next to Nelis we have Condonine from all the way from Cooley, west of Macroom. Gentlemen, you're quite welcome here to today's ploughing match. Nelis, if I may start with you. Overall impression of the event here today in Leaveview?
A massive setup. And more overwhelming amount of competitors, but ground conditions aren't appealing to the competitors.
I suppose, considering the vast amount of rainfall that has fallen, they're exceptionally good, considering that we had a lot of rain, and it's indicative when we go to the lower field there that some springs have erupted, but still overall two-wheel drive tractors are still making progress and doing good ploughing.
Excellent ploughing. Way better than the bigger ones.
Right.
Way better. They're more manoeuvrable sort of situation and giving better results.
Yeah. So
no big weight.
I suppose we ploughed down in your place. I'm not sure. I was a very small young fella when we had a big ploughing match below in Crookstown House. And I think Luce and O'Connell's were on the go at the time there, where they demonstrated the semi-tractors. I'm not sure. There's not too many semi-tractors. I think probably in the early 70s, was it? I'm not sure what year it was.
I'd be thinking so. I don't have the date in hand now, but I remember it quite well anyway.
That's right. So
the 5-footer plough there the day, and it was the thing that was taking all the distraction.
Correct. We were very fortunate that you afforded us to plough some of your big fields as well, and trying to get ground that time for ploughing matches for demonstration purposes were very hard to come by, so we were each equally appreciative of you affording us that opportunity.
Yes, that was all right that time.
So, if I may turn to your colleague Connie, as I said, probably back around Cooley, there won't be as much ploughing, but what's your overall impression of today's event here with 52 competitors having made the effort to be here with us today?
It is a good big turnout, yeah, and with so many competitors in it. And some of the ground is reasonably dry enough too, like, yeah. Wouldn't be much ploughing now where we are. There'd be no tillage in Cooley. Right. Yeah.
I suppose if you were to put on sorry about that temporary interruption. If I may put on your other cap, Con, you do a lot of buying for Cork Marts. I know the calf season has begun for some farmers. Where do you see the price of calves? This is a predominantly milk area here around Mid-Cork, with a vast percentage of dairy gold milk being produced in this area. Where do you see the price of calves maybe 2015? I know it's early days, but how are the trends looking for the viewers out there in LTV?
Yeah, I suppose the Frisian calves will be probably around the same as last year, but I could see maybe the colour calves might be dearer, because a lot of people are getting out to sucking and they're going to rear more calves, I think, anyway, and there might be more beef calves around too.
What are the prices like at the moment in the mart for there's a lot of autumn calves out? I'm not sure if there's many being sold to Macroom, but they're looking at the papers in Bandon. There's up to maybe 200 or 300 calves that they're being sold in Bandon presently at the minute.
Actually, the good type British Frisian calves make you up to 150 or 60 euros, but I suppose a lot of farmers buying calves now for drinking milk, like because of quarter problems, like.
That will be a challenge going forward. Obviously, maybe Neil, I'll put on your beef hat. Obviously, you and your son Niall down rear a lot of beef cattle. What are your concerns going forward in 2015? Do you see the price of beef, has it improved somewhat since the various blockades have taken place?
Very, very little. Very little.
Right.
Maybe the prices come up, but grading has got harder.
So
and overall, I would say there'd be no change.
Right. So 2015 is equally going to be a challenging year going forward in the beef industry, you think?
Very much so.
Right.
Very. I think this year could be a very turbulent year.
Right.
A lot of unrest, don't know where people are going to, between prices falling, milk falling, conditions and standards have to be better, and that will bring down the overall price of it too.
I know, I want to thank you for your time, gentlemen. I know we have survived challenges, and I suppose, Neil, you're a man that has seen a lot of decades put behind you, and you have risen to the task in the pattern. You're still hale and hearty as you're in your late 80s and still farming very actively. You have seen many challenges and times were tough, and maybe 2015 may be challenging, but I'm sure if we pull together as a nation, we'll rise to the challenge, and maybe let's hope that 2016 and maybe the end of 2015 will be a lot more encouraging, and we have our health, which is equally important.
We'll hope for the better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gentlemen, thanks very much for your time.
Stand beside from back. Keep walking over this way. Nothing back. Okay.
Choose my hair.
You talk away there.
Where'd you get the jacket now? Your bottle is blue. I won't be. Are you down at the lower field?
No.
Okay. I'm here with the man who had the responsibility of leading the Macroom Ploughing Association. That's Connie Buckley from Royal. Con, you must be delighted with the turnout today.
We're thrilled. You know, after the disappointment of the last couple of years, cancelling all that, we're delighted to be able to go ahead. A fine day, well over 50 competitors, everyone happy, lay ground,
Excellent site.
excellent site, and thanks to Dennis Murphy. Thank very much to him.
I suppose I think you said it. You summed it all up there in your opening statement. It means a lot to the organisation to be able to plough on the appointed day, because cancellation, obviously you don't get the crowd, and there is a bumper crowd here today.
There's a bumper crowd, and a lot of organisation, as you know yourself, Richard, goes into this, and we're all set for the day. Plots and all ready. If you have to cancel, then you have to go back over the whole thing again. Like,
You must be extremely happy to run this event. Costs a lot of money, and I think in Macroom you're very fortunate with your sponsors, I believe.
I think that the most important thing, look, is that that the people will think of our sponsors. Without the sponsors, we couldn't run this event. Like, and when they are buying feedstuffs, it's nearly all farming organisations that's supporting us. I'd ask them to support our sponsors as best they can.
Take you off your chairman, you have a member of your families participating, or you might just outline to us what classes that they're participating in here today, and did you get an opportunity to go down and cast your professional eye over them?
Well, Patrick, as you know, he ploughed All Ireland and Macroom last year, so he's ploughing Macroom as well today, hoping to plough All Ireland Macroom this year. And then with my own plough, Matthew Coakley, we consider him, you know, a part of the family, really. So he's ploughing as well.
That's right. Obviously, you had your own fame. You represented Macroom and Cork West for a number of years, and obviously you struck gold. I'm trying to think. Well, the 99. I wasn't sure. I was thinking of the cone 99. Used to be my way of remembering.
The old rustic bridge by the mill.
I'm sure 99 must be a year edged in your memory that you won't forget for a long time.
It was. I mean, look, we'd like to think that we're men of the soil, or people of the soil, and we like ploughing. And when I first came down in '95, I thought it would be easier, but it took 5 tough years of practice, and it's very hard to win in Ireland. When I was ploughing now, there was 25 or something, and you must be better than 25. You must be the best at 25 in the country, which is a tall order.
I suppose you had been a bit unlucky, you know, while you struck gold in '99, you were very close on a number of occasions, and you must be extremely disappointed on 1 or 2 occasions, but you have to rise above that.
I suppose we were disappointed, all right, like, but I mean, better jobs won. Yeah. To be fair, better jobs won. But I will say to anyone, like, you know, stick with it. And you might win today, but you'll be surprised come out the next day again. And
as chairman, you must be extremely happy of the large turnout of local ploughmen that are participating in the lower field here today.
Oh yeah, should they are our nucleus, like they're, you know, it is their our future, yeah. And you know, it is great for Macroom and great for country people. Yeah. And as you can see here today, like, you know, fine crowd and chatting and all
that's what it's all about. I think it's, I suppose you just summed it up. That's what Macroom Ploughing is about. It's basically family and community. A lot of people have walked out from the town of Macroom to be here with us today, just to see how the people on the rural side of the country are living, and it's nice to see urban and rural mixing together and having a good time here. And
so wives and children and all that is nice.
It's a family day out, a traditional day on the calendar. So we wish you, Connie, and your family the very best. And Macroom Ploughing, incidental, I believe this was where the first ploughing match was held in the early 70s, as far as I know, and we're back here again.
They say 46 years ago.
So
in this farm, actually, and the owner was there in the morning, and he said the same. So it is below where my son is ploughing, and is where that ploughing match was held.
So hopefully we're not too far away from the 50th anniversary, and it's a good sign of an organisation that it has stood the test of time through thick and thin. So we wish Macroom Ploughing every success in the next years ahead and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Leave you delighted to have caught up with two gentlemen that have a lot of experience of ploughing. On my left here we have John Sexton, all the way from the Courtmac, Sherry, and heavily involved in the Timmy League, which I'm sure he will touch on during the interview. And on my extreme left we have Jerry Cotter from Coolnadan, who had the distinction of being our first secretary. And today, Jerry, must be a very proud day for you as the former secretary of Macroom Ploughing.
Yes, I suppose it was all right. Well, I was a founder member of the ploughing match anyway in Macroom. And there's a few of them here today also. They're still there anyway. And I think it's a great achievement to see. And the fine day too and everything. How we got it, there was disappointment the last few years. I'm after retiring now from anything. I just looking on at it anyway. But that's it anyway. I think there's much more I have to say about it.
You mentioned that you were a member of the founding committee. I think the formation of Macroom Ploughing emanated many years ago. It was a seed that was sown, I believe, through Macroom farm and Macroom. Would I be right? To a lot of the.
You'll be right there, all right. That's right. That was a break off from the Macroom, and we were getting old from Macroom, and we decided to go this way. Yeah. So that's much more about it. I'd say I haven't, but we had a bit of trouble. All right, that was just hard enough to run at that time. We hadn't much money or anything, and it was a weekday at that time. It was a weekday always that time to run the ploughing matches. But we were the first to change. I think John Sexton could let you know about that there. We were the first to change every Sunday, and we're at it since.
That'll move me nicely on to John. Were Macroom the first ploughing association, I don't know around the country, but definitely in West Cork to plough on a Sunday?
Whatever, because I was at the county meeting when John Keller or someone requested, or Jerry requested, could have it on a Sunday. I know my father, who was director of DNP at the time, said it was quite eligible that it was being agreed. Only there is a stipend with some places that if ploughmen find difficulty work on a Sunday, you shouldn't carry a championship match.
So obviously you have been a regular attender to Macroom, and obviously putting on your neutral hat. Your overall impression of today's ploughing event here in Castleview?
Well, it is like getting back a bit to old times with a good tough sod. For many years now, the ploughing has been more or less on stubble ground, and a lot of the time it's very soft, tillish kind of stubble that provides no test for the competitors. Today I see here now the real old lay sod that people are used to in years gone by.
So obviously, John, I suppose it is a bigger challenge to plough on this kind of ground. It hasn't been ploughed. We ploughed this site about 7 or 8 years ago. So it really tests out competitors to have this kind of a challenge here today.
Oh, it is indeed. You say 7 years ago. I know Timmy League one now will be held on the 8th of February on my own farm. And the most of it is wasn't ploughed for 30 years. So there'll be another fair test for them.
As you mentioned, your own ploughing match, it's a very unique occasion, I believe, this coming year for Timmy League Ploughing Association.
Yes, well, it's the 80th consecutive ploughing match by Timmy League. Since 1936, they've held the fixture every year without fail.
Is it one of the oldest ploughing associations maybe in the Cork West, maybe in East, maybe throughout the country?
Oh, it is. There were ploughing matches held before that, but they fell away and so on. But since 1936 at least, since we're there, there's nobody have consecutive. Bandon came in 1944 or somewhere like that. They be the longest consecutive again. Kilmeen and Skibbereen and some of those had ploughing matches back in the 20s, but they were only kind of sporadic events that, never went into an organised shape.
no doubt it will be very happy, and no doubt a lot of people, I think of the likes of the late Dan Connolly, and unfortunately his son passed away as well. I'm sure Dan and all his colleagues, former active members of Macroom or of Timmy League Ploughing Association, I'm sure will be looking down on you kindly on Sunday the 8th of February.
I hope they will, and that they'll have an inside word with the clock of the weather.
So, well, there you have it. Two gentlemen that have years of experience involved in the ploughing, both at local level and at county level. John is the former Cork West secretary of the organisation, so I've attended many ploughing matches. So we thank you, gentlemen, for giving us your time to be interviewed here at this very successful match in Macroom.
Right, so always great excitement and great gathering at the ploughing. Now